Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also subscribe to the channel. Now, a fight that I'm definitely looking forward to, welterweight division, and it goes down in Sheffield May 27th. That's IBF champion Kell Brook versus the up-and-comer, The Truth, Errol Spence Jr. Again, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Now, I just read an article where they spoke with Kell Brook from the UK. Shout out to thestar.co.uk. So, the Star's link is in the description in case you want to read it in its entirety. I want to pull some quotes and just overall give my thoughts on the situation. So, Kell Brook, in this interview with the Star, he says they're asking about if his eye was okay. Now, just to give you guys a backstory in case you don't follow boxing enough, Kell Brook's last fight was against Gennady Golovkin. He jumped up 2 weight classes, thought he could beat him, came up short. His team threw in the towel. I think it was in the 5th round. He had some spots where he's doing real good. Some people even said him being a welterweight, no experience at 160, even exposed Golovkin, even though he came up short. Just spots of him having success. I thought he got hurt in round 1 and came back beautifully in round 2. He was bopping Golovkin's head up with uppercuts. Bop, bop. Good boy, good boy. Oh, you can. So it was a gutsy performance, and he was never knocked down. However, he did sustain an eye injury, and he kept pawing at it. I noticed it early because he kept pawing at it, and you could clearly tell something was wrong. And it's crazy because your adrenaline's in there, and luckily Kell Brook he has a good defense and overall solid technique, because Golovkin was trying to kill him. Like, Golovkin was like throwing haymakers and trying to bully him because he knew Kell Brook was a smaller person, right? So that fight is his last fight. He sustained an injury. He says people call him the Terminator now because the procedure to repair his broken eye socket so it wasn't damage to the actual eye, it's the surrounding the eye, like the orbital, and that was fractured, and they implanted the metal or whatever they did in the surgery, and that's where it sits. And now he's coming back against a young, hungry lion like Errol Spence Jr. So that's the thing where a lot of people are like, oh, how is his eye gonna hold up? And Brook told the Star, I'd really not thought much about it because I have got great faith in my surgeon, Dr. Muhammad Ali. That kind of confused me. I'm like, Muhammad Ali? Like, I shook up his eye. This man's eye is better. But I guess his doctor's name, he spells it different. His doctor's name is Muhammad Ali also. He says, I have faith in my surgeon, Muhammad Ali. When he told me I'm good to go, I knew for sure I was, right? And he's also sparring, this is also confusing, he's sparring a guy named Amir Killer Khan. So I was like, Amir Khan? You know what I mean? They got bad blood, but it's a different Amir. So you got one Muhammad Ali. This man's ugly. Like, he has termites. And then now he's sparring with a guy named Amir, but he spells it different also, A-M-E-R Khan. And that guy, I guess, had a professional career, like still trains and still stays in shape, and that's who he was sparring. So he's sparring a guy who's normally a light heavyweight, and I guess he got to test his eye out a bit to see how it was looking. And he says, Amir Khan landed in sparring. After a few shots, asked me how I felt, and I said fine. I was like, it was like I had never been injured. So that's what Kell Brook's saying. And sparring partner Amir Khan says the following: we initially started body sparring, and then it developed into full-on head sparring. I think my weight advantage got me through the spar. If Kell could take a punch from a 15-stone, tall, strong, very handsome southpaw, he's got no problems with a loudmouth wannabe American. Now, I used to live in the UK. I used to live in England. Shout out to England. Sometimes I don't get the British humor. Loudmouth wannabe American. How does he want to be American? I don't really get that jar or that insult. But hey, that's me. I get he's obviously referring to Errol Spence as the wannabe American. But hey, this is good news because now there is no excuse. If Kell Brook wins, then he wins soundly, and he wins without any issue because he's saying his eye felt like nothing ever happened. His sparring partner is saying I'm much bigger, and I was basically my weight advantage was what got me through sparring. He's obviously giving him some good quality work. Again, link in the description. And Errol Spence Jr., he's saying man down. He's saying he's in shape. So there will be no excuses. Just like Kovalev War 2, no excuses. So I like that. That's great news for me, because it's a fight I want to see, and may the best man win. As far as the eye situation, that was a concern in general. But I mean, he's saying it's okay, so who am I to say no, his eye won't hold up? Obviously, it's a sensitive subject. We never know. Sparring. You might have headgear on and stuff, but I mean, you never know. You never know how people bounce back from injury. I mean, Canelo, obviously, the severity of his injury is probably not the same, but Canelo's coming off a hand injury, and he's going in against Chavez Jr., who is a much bigger guy than him, taller, bigger, strong, and applies a constant pressure. So you don't want to be in there with one inoperable hand and one good hand against a guy who's trying to set his career straight like Chavez Jr. by beating you and knocking you out or embarrassing you, and he's much bigger than you. So, I mean, it's a brutal sport. Injuries are there, and sometimes that's something you have to deal with. So, as far as the Errol Spence side, I really feel like these guys they're not going to train. Like when Cotto was rematching Margarito, even though Pacquiao definitely did a number on his eye, I mean, he may have targeted the eye in the actual fight, but I don't think you could prepare for the worst version. You're like, oh, okay, I'm going to go 80% in training camp because this motherfucker's eye is messed up. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anyone's really thinking like that. I don't think Errol Spence is going to be like, oh, hey, let me slack off, or I'm going to beat him easy because his eye won't be able to hold up. And if you do, then that's what I like to call underestimation, and I don't think that's ever a good thing in the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? You can't underestimate or expect the worst version of your opponent. So I don't think Errol Spence Jr. is going to be training with the, like, feeling like, oh, I have one up on him. Because even if you think that way, there's still advantages that Kell Brook has. He's just coming down from a higher weight. So who knows how strong he's going to be, because his punches, Golovkin denies it, but it looked like his punches, to me, had an effect on Golovkin. That's why Golovkin got so mad. Golovkin does have a good chin, but I seen a reaction from Golovkin when he was landing some of those. So that's one potential advantage for Kell Brook. Being a guy who just fought at a higher weight, if he tapers down and he makes weight good and stuff like that, he might be the stronger guy, like, per capita. The other advantage is it's happening where Kell Brook is from, in Sheffield. So, you know what I mean? It would be foolish for Errol Spence to take Kell Brook lightly, going over to his side of the pond, like Kell Brook did for Sean Porter, and just hoping that his eye doesn't hold up. You know what I mean? I don't think that. And in addition to that is I really see Errol Spence dump into the body. You know what I mean? I see him invest in the body more than I've ever seen him headhunt. Like, he gets headshots off. I think he knocked out Bundu with the headshot, but he doesn't just focus there. He goes upstairs, downstairs too. You know what I mean? And that's what he's known for. I call him the new Mike McCallum, the body snatcher. He's snatching bodies. So this is overall a really good fight. May 27th, Bramall Lane, Sheffield. Shout out to the UK. Shout out to everybody, man. Al Heyman, Eddie Hearn for getting this done. This is a big fight. And Sean Porter, I did a video on it. The video is on the channel. Sean Porter believes that Keith Thurman is better than Kell Brook. And I don't know. Obviously, Porter has experience with both of them in the ring. But sometimes people, and I'm not saying Sean Porter's doing this for a fact, but I'm just saying from my perspective, sometimes people say things with ulterior motives, because the question was, if you had a magic wand, who would you rather rematch, Keith Thurman or Kell Brook? He says Keith Thurman because I think he's a better fighter than Brook. So there could be reasons why he wants that, because the Thurman fight, it was a disputed loss to some. Even when Keith Thurman was being announced as a winner, some people were booing it, right? And some people thought Sean Porter won the fight. But most people that I know, that I've seen, they didn't really have Sean Porter beating Kell Brook. So it could be an issue where stylistically he'd rather rematch Keith Thurman because it suits his style more. He knows what he can do. He sparred the guy years back. He just had a pro fight with him, and he was able to have a far more competitive fight with Keith Thurman's style. So he might say, if in the imaginary world, if I can make it happen, I'd rather rematch Thurman as opposed to Brook, because he might favor that type of style. You know what I mean? Kell Brook made it very difficult. He was big, he was strong, he was taller. He worked behind a precise jab. He was mentally tough. He had a cut in that fight, and he didn't like break and wilt. And he kept Shawn Porter like tamed more, right? He would lock him up and clinch, stuff you just regular boxing 101 stuff you're supposed to be doing. So there could be reasons. Other reason is Shawn Porter has a friendship with Keith Thurman. Even though they're combatants and foes when they fought, they're also friends, and for the most part they said good things. There wasn't really a bunch of horrible trash. I mean, Keith Thurman said, I'm gonna try to knock him out, but I mean, of course he's gonna say that, but he says it's business. This has nothing to do. He's a good guy and he's a friend. So that could be another reason why you would give someone that you're cooler with more of the press and more of the accolades or whatever. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. But I mean, if Kell Brook goes and stops Errol Spence or beats him down or looks sensational, then to me, I already said it. Whether Kell Brook wins or Errol Spence, that's the #1 welterweight to me. You could also throw in Pacquiao. Mayweather's retired, but you could throw in Pacquiao, I guess, if you want. But I mean, I would favor, if Errol Spence looks great and shines, or Kell Brook, I would favor them to beat Pacquiao at this point, because we haven't really seen Pacquiao test himself with the young, hungry Lions in a lot of time, or a long amount of time. You know what I mean? Terrence Crawford's out there. There's Keith Thurman, who's been calling Pacquiao out, and he's fighting Jeff Horn. Jesse Vargas. So that lets you know what it is. You wanted Jesse Vargas' WBO real bad, but Keith Thurman got 2 belts, and you don't care a damn about them. You don't care about the WBA or WBC. Everybody likes the green strap except for Pacquiao don't. You know what I mean? You don't care about undefeated Terrence Crawford, who, if you beat him, a guy who's climbing through the ranks and people are comparing to the new generation's Mayweather, then you're the man. And that it's obviously like a nice size consolation prize to losing to Floyd. Like I beat Floyd Jr., you know what I'm saying? I beat the next coming of Floyd, right? I'm ready for the Floyd rematch, but you don't want to fight Terrence Crawford. So I don't know. For me, the winner of this fight is the #1 welterweight in my eyes. But you also got Pacquiao, Keith Thurman, and you can make an argument for those guys. Pacquiao more so his body of work, what he's done in the past as opposed to recently, and Keith Thurman obviously because he has momentum and 2 belts more than any other welterweight. That's my thoughts. Kell Brook says his eye is A-OK. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego. Signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.